Hey, sports fans and friends. Thanks for tuning in on the Shotgun Sports Network YouTube channel, Facebook, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notification bell to be notified when we post new content. Also, go check out all of our great shows on the Shotgun Sports Network. Scout and Catherine host the Elks Call, bringing you all the latest from Edmonton Elks and Edmonton sports scene. Oz and Joe host the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast, talking about the Montreal Alouettes, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and CFL in general. Clay, Will, and Sir Douglas host the Argos Fancast, where they discuss the Toronto Argos. All of these great CFL shows are all brought to you by Royal Retros. Click the link in the description and use code STAMPS Roundup for 10% off Royal Retros. Great retro gear from leagues such as the CFL, USFL, XFL, WHA, NLB, MLB, and more. This is episode 13 of Stampeders Roundup, and this week, former Stampeder Nik Lewis pops in to discuss the so far very impressive Calgary Stampeders and share some exciting and crazy stuff he's involved with these days. But first, let's do the Calgary Sports Update, brought to you by Rampage Coffee. You wouldn't accept a delay a game in the red zone, so why are you still drinking coffee that tastes like someone's boiled gym socks? Rampage Coffee is what happens when Canadian football fans say, I want my brew like I want my linebacker. Intense, full-bodied, and possibly illegal in 3 provinces. These beans are roasted fresh in Canada, and you can taste that northern aggression in every sip. Hit the link in the show description and use code STAMPS10 and score 10% off your next order. It's like throwing a touchdown pass straight into your bloodstream. Rampage Coffee, because mild coffee is for CFL refs who miss obvious calls. The Calgary Flames are currently hiring for conversion team members and security operations. The CSEC Venue Operations Job Fair runs from 1 to 5 p.m. on Monday, July 28th, and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Tuesday, July 29th. At Scotiabank Saddledome. For more information, visit csecjobs.com. The Calgary Flames also announced that they have re-signed center Rory Cairns, as well as defenseman Yan Kuznetsov and Jeremy Poyer. Rory Cairns was drafted by Calgary in the 6th round, 174th overall, in the 2020 NHL Draft. The 23-year-old center led the Calgary Wranglers in scoring last season, with 33 goals and 28 assists for 61 points. He was called up to the Calgary Flames, making his NHL debut on January 13, 2025, and registered a pair of assists. He played 5 games during his call-up, collecting 4 assists with the Calgary Flames. Yan Kuznetsov, a native of Murmansk, Russia, played 72 games for the Calgary Wranglers in 24-25, posting a career-best 21 points from 6 goals and 15 assists, while recording a team-best plus 21 this past season. Kuznetsov made his NHL debut during the 23-24 season on January 9th against the Ottawa Senators. Jeremy Poyer, a native of Salaberry de Valleyfield, Quebec, was selected by Calgary in the 3rd round, 72nd overall, in the 2020 NHL Draft. The 23-year-old suited up for 71 games for the Calgary Wranglers last season, scoring 5 goals and adding 37 assists to help him record a career-best 42 points. And the Calgary Flames announced the regular season schedule. They will open the 25-26 season on the road in October against the Edmonton Oilers. Their home opener at the Scotiabank Saddledome will be on October 11th versus the St. Louis Blues. Hockey Canada has announced the 79 players selected to attend Hockey Canada's Program of Excellence Under-17 Development Camp in Oakville, Ontario, from July 19th to 23rd. Among those named is Calgary Hitman prospect Calder Hamilton. Hamilton was selected by the Hitmen in the 1st round, 6th overall, in the 2024 WHL Prospects Draft for 2009-born players. The defenseman finished the 24-25 season with 49 points, 15 goals, and 34 assists in 40 games with the Warman Wildcats U18 AAA. Calgary Hitmen have also announced their 25-26 WHL regular season schedule. Calgary will launch their campaign with a home-and-home series against the Lethbridge Hurricanes, starting on Friday, September 19th at Lethbridge Arena. The teams then head to Calgary as the Hitmen host their home opener the following night on Saturday, September 20th at Scotiabank Saddledome. Head on over to the Hitmen website for more details and tickets. The Calgary Cavalry FC beat the Winnipeg Valor 2-1 on Sunday. Callum Montgomery opened the scoring in the 51st minute, and after the Valor tied the game in the 82nd minute, Sergio Camargo scored the game winner late in the game to give the Cavalry the victory. The Cavalry have taken back third place in the Canadian Premier League with 7 wins, 3 losses, and 4 draws. The Cavalry's next match is Saturday against York United at Atco Field in Calgary. You can get tickets as low as $30 on Ticketmaster. The Calgary Surge beat the Saskatchewan Rattlers 103-81 last Tuesday, and then beat the Winnipeg Seabears 93-89 on Thursday. On Tuesday, Evan Gilliard Jr. led the way with 30 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Greg Brown had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist to lead the Surge to victory on Thursday. The Surge currently sit in second place in the CEBL with 12 wins and 5 losses. The Surge's next game is Friday when they host the first place Vancouver Bandits at Winsport Event Center. You can get tickets as low as $27 on Ticketmaster. All right, let's head to the latest Calgary Stampeders news. The Calgary Stampeders trampled the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for the second time in 3 weeks. Vernon Adams Jr. completed 16 of 24 passes for 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Our friend Damian Alford did all right. He was only targeted 3 times, but hauled in 2 of those passes, and both were touchdowns. Dedrick Mills had 13 carries for 70 yards, and Sheldon Arnold II led the defense with 7 tackles, while Anthony Johnson and Jaden Grant each had an interception, and Adrian Green had a pick-6 interception. Clarence Hicks, Jalen Hutchings, and Miles Brown each had a sack. The Stampeders' next game is Thursday when they host the Montreal Alouettes in the Throwback Thursday game at McMahon Stadium. You can score tickets as low as $20 at Ticketmaster. Go check out Stampeders.com for more reactions, interviews, stats, news, and more. Sports fans and friends on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified when we go live or post, and like and follow at Stamps Roundup on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Now let's get to my chat with former Calgary Stampeder great Nik Lewis. Former Calgary Stampeders legend and friend of the show, Nik Lewis, is joining me to discuss, hopefully, the Calgary Stampeders season so far and exciting new opportunities that he's got going on. Welcome back to the show, Nik.
Hey, good to be back. How you doing?
I am doing all right since the Stampeders are riding high.
100%. It's good to watch them win, man, and just see the progress they've made. And, you know, even watching them in training camp, I just knew there was something different in the air.
Yeah, so hopefully you have been watching a little bit and you can comment so far. From what you've seen so far, what are your overall thoughts?
Well, let's break it down. My top 3. So my number 1, Pat Delmonico taking over the offense. Trick plays with the flea flicker early in the season to throwing the ball down the field to getting VA in rhythms early to attacking the boundary last week on the whole first drive. You know, Pat's so locked in right now, and just coaching with him the last 2 years, what an amazing mind that he has. Also, he's a great person to be around and a great communicator. So I'm so happy for Pat and, beyond proud of what he's accomplishing right now and just want to see him continue to climb that ladder. Number 2, Bob Slowick taking over the defense. And, we knew last year in Calgary we had the smallest receiving core and the smallest secondary in the league. And that does affect you when everybody's small. You're not able to make big plays like you've seen Mario Alford do. Oh, not Mario Alford, I'm sorry. Alford do down the field, catching the ball and doing the thing that he's been able to do this year and being able to just create big plays. And you see with him in the lineup, with Tevin Jones in the lineup and Dominique Rhymes, three bigger bodies, how it's producing in an offense. It's unfortunate that Reggie Begelton went down, but now you're truly seeing the emergence of Jalen Philpott, right? Someone who last year I was very protective of, coming off of a major injury where he tore his hamstring off the bone. It's not easy for a 23-year-old to come back from that. So really had to protect him early to try to get him back to where he had a healthy season, which he did have last year. And now you're seeing that truly come out and him making play after play week in and week out. And then third, I would just say Vernon Adams. What a great leader. Whenever the guys in the room can look over and know that they have a chance to win every game because you're a part of it, is a truly special feeling. I've been in that place before to understand the true leadership and the different things that you would need to just to have confidence to go out and win. But those three things, man, Pat Delmonico, Bob Slowick, amazing jobs on the offensive defense. Defense is number one in the league. You know, I don't think they've given up more than one touchdown, more than one game this year. So outstanding. And they played, Winnipeg twice, who was top 4 in the power rankings last week. Saskatchewan, who was number 2 in the power rankings last week, or number 1 or 2, I can't remember. And then Hamilton was in the top 4. They beat all of them, right? And the only game they came up and with a dud was in a rainstorm, which happens, right? It kind of brings the teams together and almost evens the teams when you have bad weather like that.
Yeah, you mentioned Vernon Adams, who, when he was brought in, I was initially really excited and love what I see so far. One thing I think I'd like to see him tighten up on is throwing those picks. He's consistently throwing one or two picks.
You got to take the good with the bad, because you got to think if he's worried about throwing picks, he doesn't throw the ball up to Alfred down the field like that as much.
That's true.
If he's worried about throwing picks, he doesn't complete passes on 2nd and 14 the way that he's been able to, and doing those types of things to keep drives alive. So, you want him to stay aggressive, especially understanding the flow of the game, right? If it's a tight game, you got to be more conservative and try to drive the ball and trust your defense. But the way that the Stamps have been playing, it's score points early, and now the defense is playing complementary football where they can say, hey, we're shutting down a lot of this stuff. You got to throw the ball down the field if you want anything. And we got ball hawks. You see Webb, you see Green, you see Grant making a play last week. So the guys are out there that's very confident that they're able to make plays down the field. So it's great.
Yeah, VA definitely looks like he's controlling the offense, and he looks like he's throwing at will wherever he wants. So you're definitely right there, taking the good with the bad. Defense, I looked at the CFL overall stats, and they have Calgary's defense ranked as 2nd behind Montreal. I'm not sure how they do their rankings or whatnot, but they got Calgary's defense ranked 2nd. But I'd have to agree with you. I think they're definitely number 1.
Yeah, they're not giving up touchdowns. Montreal's giving up touchdowns. Calgary's been very good this year, not giving up touchdowns. So when you want to score touchdowns, it's hard to win games in the CFL, right? When you're only getting 3s and the other team's able to get 7s, it's very hard to win in the CFL. And as an offense, you know that. Like, that when you're playing tough games like Montreal, Calgary this week, it's going to be a tough game. And at the end of the day, Calgary's got to capitalize in the red zone and understand that they're going to have to score touchdowns. And they believe right now if they can get to 20 points, it's a win in the score column.
Now, they are walking a fine line, though. They are allowing a lot of passing yards and a lot of offensive yards per game. So teams just aren't converting when they're getting in the red zone. So that's a good thing.
100%. And, some of those are, like empty calories. If you look at the last couple of weeks, they've had big double-digit leads. Yeah, you're playing not to give up because now it's a race against time. And you understand that as long as we have a huge lead or a double-digit lead, they're going to have to make big plays in order to go and score because it's a race against time. So you're giving up a lot of empty calories out there a lot of the weeks, and it's better to play on the safer side when you have those big leads than to not. Right? I've been on that where when you're out there and you get hit with a double move and you give up a touchdown and the game was already pretty much over, and now you got to go out on offense and you got to get 2 or 3 first downs to try to ice the game, or you got to go put up points because the other team has momentum now, and it doesn't always go in your favor. So don't give up big plays there when you have big leads, and the offense is doing a great job. The defense is, run defense has been better this year with Brown, and Hutch has gotten, I think, 2 or 3 sacks this year. What an addition that was to have Hutch in that defensive line as well. So it's really good to see them hunt. And, John Bowman's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, the defense has held Brady Oliveira to under 70 yards rushing in both games. And they held the entire Rough Rider team to only 16 yards rushing a couple weeks ago. And, of course, you got the big plays by Moncrief and Webb, pick sixes, 2 of them in one game, and I think one of them in the last game, or maybe against the Riders.
Webb got one last game, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he jumped the screen and took it back. And, Green had another great interception on the goal line to save a touchdown.
Yeah.
Or even putting points on the board.
Yeah. You touched briefly in your talk there about Damian Alford. Tell me what your thoughts about Damian Alford so far, because he's so far a beast.
100%. Coming out of Utah, he actually played at Utah with one of the kids that I used to train, Money Parks, and been able to see his transition into the CFL. Watched him in training camp a couple of days when I was there, and just seeing him trying to gather the offense, learn everything. Sometimes it's easiest when you can just put a guy on the outside and just say, hey, go be big and go make plays. And when a guy can step up like that and make those plays, I mean, he's made great catches, contested catches down the field. He's a big body. One of the things that you got to realize is teams are going to have to start trying to double that, which means there's going to open up more space for the other guys to do what they do. But it's very hard to double the guy on the outside of the ball, right? Where he lines up at the Z because Clark Barnes has been out. So he's lining up at the Z. So now it just makes it so hard for teams to go over there and try to double him. And he just creates this ultimate mismatch. So I'm really proud of the way he's came on, and just want to see him continue to climb that ladder.
Yeah, the scary thing is if he continues climbing the way he's climbing, he's going to climb right into the NFL.
No, I mean, there's a, I see people talk about that. It's a total different game. And, Damon doesn't have like pure foot speed, but his stride is long. And when he gets running, he can really run. And there's a lot of things that he can do really well. I wouldn't say he's the most physical guy. So if you think about tight ends in the NFL, like a Kyle Pitts, it's a pretty much similar body type to Damon Alford. So you look at those guys, and I don't know if he has that true like dog mentality to go out there and just block in the box and do different things like that. But he will stretch the field in the CFL. I want to see him continue to add to his game so that he can play in the slot and on the outside and run multiple routes and be able to get the ball to him in multiple ways and not just be a jump ball receiver. But if you look at the NFL, there's a lot of guys out there that's very dynamic. Trust me, there's a lot of guys in the CFL that can go to the NFL if they choose to. But do they want to be the 4th, 5th guy on the depth chart in the NFL because maybe somebody's more dynamic or they make more money, or you never know what the outcome's going to be. But I think he's loving the situation he's at in the CFL, and he's just enjoying day by day.
Yeah, so now the Stampeders are doing what they're doing right now without Bagleton and Barnes. Are they going to mess things up when they come back? Or I always think that in my mind. I'm thinking, what they're doing now is working. now these guys come back. Are they going to throw things off, or do you think they'll fit right in seamlessly again?
No, seamless. I mean, those are two dynamic receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think the play that Clark Barnes got hurt on was a jump ball down the field, right? He went up and got it and got into the end zones. I personally thought, even when I was there, that we underutilized Clark because I think he's just such a dynamic talent with his double move potential, his explosion in and out of routes, his smoothness in what he does. Man, look, the more firepower you have, the better. Because if you can rotate guys and guys can stay fresher, they're going to make more plays. So understanding that they're in a great spot by getting a Clark Barnes back and by getting Reggie back when he comes back. I know he's got a tremendous uphill battle, but I know that, he's the guy for the challenge to be able to accomplish that and make it back to the field. Even adding a Malik Henry back with explosive speed and, to see him being able to start to put it together, to put those pieces together to start to get back and on the field. He's a different element that the Stamps don't have. And I don't believe really anybody in the league has of what Malik can do at his size.
So with the Stampeders rolling like they are right now, they look almost perfect. Any spots you see that they can shore up on or improve on?
I mean, you can always improve, right? You can always improve. Special teams, they've been solid. You see Big Vaughn going down there making big plays. Jackson is Sombach is doing a great job, in his first year in the CFL. And you see a lot of these guys going out there and playing hard and competing. The one game they did freeze up on Ottawa when they lost Lee, the middle linebacker, and then Tights, and they were playing the two linebackers there, just playing and didn't fulfill the role. They were able to bring in Kyle Wilson and bring in Big Hill. And, now those two guys are playing really well at the linebacker position. They're making plays. They've stepped up. But you always know that it's hard when you trust in young guys to be your biggest playmakers. The secondary is young. Arnold, Grant, the new guy that was on the corner this last week because Tyler was out. Tyler's a young guy still. And so it's good to see them playing with confidence. And as the offense puts up points, it gives the defense a little bit more confidence to go out there and make plays, be a little bit more aggressive at times. But no, I don't really see any one thing that say, maybe they could be a little bit better in the run game. But Mills is running the ball so well right now. I mean, he's getting to the second level on almost every other carry. He's at the second level making DBs tackling, right? So I'm just nitpicking at this point just to try to find something that they can really be better in. I do know that in the second half they've had leads and they didn't look as motivated or dialed in at times in the second half that you would like them to be, because it's like they're in their mind, they're like, we're on coast mode. We would like to see them go ahead and put up more points and do more things like that. I remember 2010 when we averaged 37 points a game and we were dialed in all game because it was like one of those things where we're chasing records, we're chasing greatness, and you just would like to see them in that mode all the time, not just be out there.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. A couple of games, the last game, that late Winnipeg touchdown, they're like, Winnipeg just marched the ball down the field at will and just scored on them like it was nothing, which is a different story from the entire rest of the game. So yeah, you're definitely right there. Looking at the CFL as a whole so far, anything surprising you? What's surprising you so far in the CFL?
No, it's gone about how I thought it was going to go. I thought Montreal was going to be the best team in the East. You see Hamilton is playing well. Bo was hot last year at the end of the year, put up over 5,000 yards, over 5,500 yards passing. So Bo's going to make those passes. He got another big receiver in Kenny Lawler, who's a great receiver that's able to go up down the field. That's Kenny Lawler is Bo's Eric Rodgers, right? So when you look at it like that and see how Eric was so effective, now Kenny's doing the same thing. And Bo didn't have that with Tim White. He didn't have that with the other guys last year, that somebody that could really stretch the field at that size that can go up and make plays down the field. So that was a great addition for Bo. Toronto, I've always known Nick Arbuckle to be a quarterback that stabilizes. And if you're not going to give up a bunch of points or you can create turnovers, he'll be able to win games. I was kind of disappointed in him at the end of the game last week, seeing that blitz off the edge. And, 24 walks up early on the edge. Thorpe is going to bring it, some kind of exotic. And he just didn't, expect it, or he didn't see it. I don't know what happened. He didn't float away from it to get the ball off. Into's one of the best DBs to drop back and make those picks on corner routes because he's always expecting it, right? He's always expecting the ball to go down the field. And if you throw it up, Into's going to come down with it. He's a great DB on the edge there. Ottawa, about like I thought Ottawa would be. Those guys are going to be fighting for that third spot. And then you got everybody in the West right now that's going to be a dogfight, right? I think that SAS going out and beating BC, which I thought they would do, just solidifies them as the number 2 team in the West. And I think Winnipeg's the 3rd team, and then you got BC there at 4. So BC is going to be in that dogfight to try to get that crossover. I know we're early in the season and we're talking about the crossover, but you just see how it's shaping up. And Calgary's first 6 games with their gauntlet. Like, if you look at the schedule and you said, okay, who's got the hardest 6 games? We got Winnipeg twice, once in Winnipeg. We have Saskatchewan in Saskatchewan. We got Hamilton at home to start the year, and we go to Toronto. In Calgary, we haven't always been good at Toronto. So it's I thought that was a very tough schedule to start the year, and I thought they did an amazing job.
Yeah, and then this week we have Montreal, and then we go to Ottawa. So, and then Winnipeg again. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, pretty soon we're getting to Labor Day and we're facing Edmonton twice. So, I mean,
you got to hope Edmonton has figured it out by then. That's always the hard part too. Is you see some teams early that aren't very good, and you wish you had played them when they weren't very good, and then every week they're getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then by the time you play them, it's like, oh man, like we got to play a total different team than everybody else played 6 weeks ago. So, Mark's, on that grind out there and just trying to see what they can get done.
Yeah, I think Edmonton's a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought that they were going to do better than they have so far. I thought Trey Ford was definitely going to be an improvement, but it seems like same old story in Edmonton.
Well, I mean, it's just hard. Trey Ford's not a natural passer of the football. He's smaller. You put hands up in his face. You get him moving around early. As he continues to run, he's going to be, take punishment on his body and do those types of things. It's just it's an uphill climb with him at quarterback. And, there's a lot of athletic defensive linemen out there that can run. And there's a lot of linebackers that can run. And, when you put together game plans, because he's playing, they're different game plans. You're going to give him different looks, try to make him throw into different spaces, not just give him, you're changing up constant looks and doing things because you don't really fear him to really throw the deep ball that well. I mean, you've seen deep balls be behind receivers, be outside. Yeah. So until he can prove that he can make those throws consistently, they're just going to struggle because if you have no threat of going by people, I mean, and I'm talking about in the concise of a play. I'm not talking about when a play breaks down and he gets out of the pocket and throws one down the field. Yeah, he'll be able to do that. But if you're running a play and you just have a straight go ball or a post route, or you set him up to the safety to jump to underneath and then you take a shot over the top, if he can't throw those balls consistently, then everybody's just going to play tighter inside 20 yards, and now there's nowhere to throw the ball. And you see that last week. What was he, 4 for 12? I mean, yeah. First of all, 12 passes, and second of all, like, you only completed 4 of them. That's not very good, and it definitely doesn't give the offense a chance to win a lot of games, even though that they have those 2 powerhouse running backs in Josh Rankin and I can't think of the other one's name, the returner. He's awesome. 22.
Javon Leake.
Yeah, Javon Leake. Oh my gosh, what a special creation that is. To be that size and that fast and that explosive, man, I marvel at that guy every time I see him because he's such a tremendous talent.
He reminds me a little of Gizmo.
Man, Gizmo's 5'6". Javon's like 6'1".
Oh yeah. Leake is taller, right? He's a taller guy. That's right.
I mean, he can run too. He's fast. He's strong. He's explosive. You know, I remember there was a game last year when I just seen him. He just took handoffs and just outran everybody and went through a hole and right down the middle and just outran everybody with angles. So what an explosive guy that is. You got to control him. You got to make contact in the back, and you got to get him moving lateral and not just going vertical, because if he goes vertical, it's hard. It's hard to deal with.
Is Toronto going to turn things around when Kelly gets in there?
I believe so. I think Chad just offers a different dynamic than Nick Arbuckle. Nothing scares you about Nick. His arm strength doesn't scare you. He's not going to run and beat you with his legs. He's not going to do a lot of those things that really just scare you as a quarterback. But at the same time, he is a smart quarterback. He's able to manage games and try to get things done. But they are way more effective when they have, these receivers be able to go out there and make plays. You haven't really seen Coxie make plays down the field this year like he was last year. You can tell they're missing Polk, who's a guy that was very dynamic in their offense last year. They gave him some big playability that made tough catches and did those types of things. They've had some injuries over there. Still trying to figure it out at running back. So I just think that they have a lot of figuring out to do. Will Fields left to go to Ottawa. So it's interesting to see how much Shives is getting the input when you got a code D coordinator that does something totally different than what the code D coordinator did last year. So now Will and Iben were together for a while. So they kind of understood each other, understood those pieces and how that works. Shives and Iben, I think they were teammates a long time ago this is probably 20 years ago, 17 years ago that they were teammates. But it's one of those things, man, it's just they just got to figure it out. I think as the year goes on, they'll get a little bit better, and they'll always be pushing there. But, Hamilton and Montreal definitely look like the best two teams in the East.
Yeah, let's talk about you now. Exciting new opportunity you announced this past week. Tell everyone about that.
Yeah, it's been good as I'm building AO Sports and getting ready to launch the platform. I've been able to do a couple of speaking engagements. One started off with, we did our Principles and Leadership Fireside Chat, which is available right now on aosports.tv. You can go check that out. What an awesome panel that was with Jason Ribeiro, the president and vice chairman of Calgary Surge, Jay McNeil, the president of the Stampeders, Jordan Babineau, former college teammate of mine and played 9 years in the NFL, 10 years with Seattle and Tennessee Titans, and Nicole Delaney, my co-CEO. So that was awesome. I did a speaking engagement there that led to my next speaking engagement, which was at the Kapoor Global Wealth Investor Summit. And there, on behalf of the Biosport and BioAero, I was able to discuss things with them, with Leela Hare and Patrick Kirkwood. Patrick's the CEO of the Biosport. We've had a great relationship since then. Just been continue to push that forward. And I just really love what they're doing. I really love the opportunity to work with athletes, to the ability to give my input on the direction of where I believe the company should go and how we're doing things. But understanding genome and how they can now go down to your blood and they can predict injuries and they can predict, what you need to take, whether it's a vitamin, a supplement, whether it's food to nourish your body, because we're all different. But now they're going down to your blood, not just to tell you where you come from, but to tell you everything about your body that you need to know. And we're even going to a place by the end of this year, we're going to have an app that's going to be able to recommend workouts to you for your body to maximize your potential. I mean, how awesome is that, right? If I had this as an athlete and I could just know right now, I could look at this app and say, okay, this is what I need to do for my body to be the best I could be, to feel good. I know what supplements I need to take to get my body back right. I know what I need. All those things. It's like all the answers that we never knew, that we all, listen to people tell us what we need to do and what we need to take and all these things. The guessing work is done, right? So no more guesswork. We're going to be able to get that to the athletes, and it's going to be a beautiful thing, because what I believe is we're going to create more longevity in sports. We're going to create better humans and healthier humans after they play their sport. And then we're going to be able to test really records and everything else, because now we're able to maximize our body to a higher potential.
Man, just great science going on there, and just it's insane the things that they're doing now. I can't fathom that kind of science. So great work you're doing there.
Yeah, and, it's good. Kapoor Wealth, and if you go to Kapoor Wealth, you'll be able to see this is one of their companies and what they're doing in Dubai and what they're doing in North America and what they're going to be doing globally soon. I'm just honored to be a part of this company, honored to be a part of such a movement to empower athletes with AO Sports, and as I'm the founder of that. But we're going to be able to create some great content with the BioSport as well on this mission.
Yeah, tell people where they can find more information about that and AO Sports.
Yeah, you can look up the BioSport online on all the socials. AOsports.tv is the AO Sports website, and you got to get if you're an athlete out there, it's all about your gut health. It's all about your health, and we have these little kits that we send out to athletes. They purchase them, and then they're able to get all the information, right? Their sample information to get them tracking and being the best that they can be. When you understand how sports is moving to $1 trillion industry, and now there are, I think, 17 states, high school seniors can start receiving NIL money. Like, don't wait. Like, let's get you on that fast track. Let's get you where you need to be so that you can be your best and have your best potential to earn while you're doing it, because why else do it, right? We all have fun playing sports. We all have fun entertaining. But with the money that's being out there right now, it's a great time to take those risks and going and getting it. And if you can maximize your body and you can maximize the opportunity, you'll be surprised on what you'll be able to do on a daily basis, right? From your workouts are going to increase, just from feeling better. When you go to practice, when you go work out, you're going to feel better. I always thought, I always wished, I was like, man, I wish there was like a machine that I could practice all week and get into the morning of the game and feel like I didn't practice that week. And then after the game, get into and go back to practice the next day or 2 days later like I never played in the game. And that would be awesome, right? And I believe we just took a step closer to that.
Well, I mean, they had hyperbaric chambers, didn't they?
They did, but that didn't recover you as much as I would like, but they did do a good job. And there's a Magnosphere device as well. So that's another one that's out there that's really great too. But
yeah, well, as always, Nick, great talking to you about the Stampeders and CFL and everything you got going on. And I'll hit you up further down the season here, and hopefully we'll be talking about some playoff football.
100%. We should be. Let's just keep them on the right foot. And they got a big game against Montreal this week, and looking forward to seeing that horse run the sidelines a lot.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks a lot, Nick.
Indeed. Have a great one.
That does it for me here at Stampeders Roundup. Big thanks to Nik Lewis for taking time out of his busy schedule. Go check out all the great CFL shows on the Shotgun Sports Network. including Argos Fancast, Rouge, White, and Blue, and the Elks Call. For myself and my friends on the Shotgun Sports Network, thanks for tuning in.
Here we go! Ready?